All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Langdon.
Hi.
Welcome to this is the Abstract Artist Discussion and Virtual Tour. Abstract is, hold on one sec. There's about 91 artists participating um, in the Abstract show. It's one of my most popular shows of the year, and it's really, it brings in a lot of really fantastic work. All different ways that artists are using an abstract style, all different mediums, and it's a really good representation of what's going on out there. This is a virtual online show. I have a shop through artsy.net, which I am going to bring you up, and we're just going to dive right into the presentation. Normally, I, talk a little bit about the artists who aren't here, to talk about their work, sometimes read their artist statement, but there's about 133 pieces in this show. So I'm really going to try hard not to make some comments about every piece and every artist, especially ones that I've worked with for a while and I know. Because I really want to give the most of the time to the artists who are here to talk about their work. But we are going to see each piece in the show, though. So let's start it right off by going to the artsy page, and let me pull that up so you can see what I am seeing. Okay, great. Can you all see that?
Yes.
So this is my artsy page. It's on artsy.net. That's ARTSY, like she's real artsy. Artsy.net, and look for Emerge Gallery NY. On the page, you will see the current shows. Here we are with Abstract or Abstracted. I also have a pop-up here in Saugerties called From Sky to Sea, the Magical Art of Ruth Sofer. Ruth is an 89-year-old artist who's never had a solo show before. She's been doing illustrations, pretty much all gouache for Dover Books, has published about 50 books with them, a lot of coloring books, all pretty much based in science and nature. So it's a really beautiful collection of her work. Literally from sky, birds to the sea, some sea creatures. It is a pop-up at the local here in Saugerties. It's a really gorgeous refurbished Dutch Reformed church that is now a music and events venue. So I was pleased when Isabel, the owner, asked if I would be interested in doing some pop-ups there. So that work is available to see on Artsy as well. We also have going on Linda Linton, Salthill, a Catskill Journey, exploring a river through art. Linda spent a year traveling the Salthill River, which starts all the way up at the top of the mountains in the Hudson Valley and empties out through Saugerties and Kingston. So she spent a year traveling there, getting to know the people, getting to know all of the different locations along the Salthill. So these are all oil paintings. Also have Concrete Poetry, Diane Talon's New York City. Diane is a artist that has lived a very long time in the East Village, but is now back up here. She's been painting New York City for pretty much her entire life. There a lot of diptychs, some triptychs, some really beautiful scenes, and she sort of there's a whole series of night workers as well. And then finally, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's dive into Abstracted. So when you get to the show that you want to see, and I did want to mention all of my shows have been archived for the last 5 years. I think I've been on Artsy. So if you wanted to spend a little bit of time looking at art, please go ahead and see the different shows that I did have. A bunch of solo shows, mostly group shows. But the beauty of Artsy is that the work remains and is archived on the site. So a lot of people do look at older shows and do order from shows. So, as an artist, you have a lot of other opportunities as well for people to see the work, not just while the show is on, but after the fact as well. And of course, if you wanted to just have it on during the duration of the show, you just let me know. So this is the abstracted show. You'll see it all lined out, little thumbnails of each piece. But when you click on a piece, it will bring you to that piece. You can also bring up a full screen version of it. All right, so we're going to start this right off by bringing up Robin Adler.
Hi.
Robin, here you are. All right, great. Let me pin you so everyone can see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me in the show again.
Absolutely. I love your work.
Delighted. Thank you very much. I'll just start by saying it's my gallery shift today at Bow Gallery. So I'm sitting at the gallery. People may come in and look at the art. And so I hope it won't be too disruptive.
I did this from the gallery during open hours, so I absolutely.
You relate, right? Yeah. So people may be walking in, but I'll try and keep it brief. So I am an abstract expressionist artist. My mediums are painting, printmaking, collage, and encaustic. And I really create art to connect to my own spirit and to connect to my community, to connect to the environment, to connect to the greater world. I really, it's an intuitive process for me. So I never know what the outcome will be when I start a piece. I just start to put down shapes and color and line, and then I look for relationships. And if I see a relationship I enjoy, I start to enhance that. And if I see a relationship that doesn't quite fit, I'll just have that recede into the background or cover that up. But with painted paper collage, which the two pieces are in abstracted, this piece is called Elemental and Upstream is the other piece. It's a very different way of working. If I'm doing my oil painting or acrylic painting, you put down paint and it doesn't always come up. With oil, you can take some of it up, but it's going to be there, at least the residue. With painted paper collage, it is such a fun process for me because I start with just painting paper designs, cutting things out, shapes. And then what I end up doing is just putting it together, taking a picture, starting again, and keep going. And then I'll look back at the pictures and see which one I like the best. So it's still intuitive, but I have a lot more control with it. So I end up having a lot of fun. So this piece is called Upstream. I made it at the turn of the year, and it just felt like, you know what, this is going to be a good year, Upstream. So I landed on that. But it's a very enjoyable process for me, any kind of abstract work, but especially abstract collage. So thank you again for having me in the show, Robert.
Always a pleasure, Robin. I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
It's great to see your collage because I usually, just see mostly acrylic.
Yes, that's right.
All right, great. Thanks, Robin.
Absolutely.
Robin has a good number of pieces on Artsy. So if you respond to Robin's work, you want to see some more, just go on Artsy. An easy way to see her work or additional works by the same artist is just to click on the artist's name, and that will bring you right to all of the works that are on Artsy. Okay. All right, next we have a piece by Janine Anderson. Hold on, folks. Let me just rearrange a few things here. A few technical difficulties. Okay. So this is a piece by Janine Anderson. Janine lives in Brunswick. This is called Stitch in Time. It's mixed media on paper, and it's a small piece. It's 4x6. We have two pieces by Susan Angelis. Susan is an artist living in New York City. She splits her time between New York City and Ulster County. These are both mixed media pieces, 10 by 10. This is called Noteworthy. And the second piece is called You Never Can Tell. All right. Have two pieces by Kim Arin, and I'm really happy that it's here. Let me see if I can find you. Oh, here you are, Kim. Wonderful. Hi, good to meet you.
Great to meet you too. Thank you for having me in the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I'm really glad you did.
Me too.
So Kim, two pieces here.
Yeah.
The first piece called Modern Love, and then the second piece is called Float 3. So you go with which one you want to start with, and I'll talk to you.
Okay, great. So why don't we start with Float 3? Because you were there, but that's okay. I'm flexible. So this is a work on paper. It's acrylic with white charcoal. And I basically found this large piece of paper and started playing with color. And that's usually how my work begins. I start with a foundation of color, and then continue to layer until the piece starts to make sense. And this piece did not make sense for a really long time until you see the sort of large orange orb at the top of the piece. Until I put that piece component in place, I didn't know what this piece was about. And that was really an organizing structure for this particular work. And this work came at a time when I was working mostly on smaller dimensioned paper and painting a lot of diptych. And this was one of my larger abstracts that really sort of came alive. And I started to listen to this voice that was emerging from my abstracted art. I'm fascinated by this piece, and it's the energy in it and the color palette in it. So I'm so excited that it's in this show and that you're showing it here. So thank you. My other piece in the show is called Modern Love, and this is a work on canvas. It's also acrylic with some art graph. You know, this piece, I do a lot of work that incorporates the drip of paint and the sort of like dripping of paint. And oftentimes the dripping of paint is what provides the connective structure to my pieces. I usually paint within the drips and on top of the drips. And in this one, I've left a number of the drips in place. I think it's called Modern Love because I'm sort of in this new dimension of life, at this stage of life. And this piece really just felt like a song. It felt like a romance. It felt like a dance when I was painting it. And one of the other elements that I really love about it is that it has this very modern sort of green-gray foundation. But if you look more closely, there are some electric pops. You see like the electric greens and the electric hues in there. And I think it gives it a lot of interest, a lot of balance, and sort of makes it stand out when it's hung. So those are those two pieces. I work mostly in acrylic medium, but I am historically a collage artist. And you can find me on Instagram at death.by.paper.cuts. That's a holdover from my collage days when I was primarily working on paper and with paper. And my website is also deathbypapercuts.com. And thank you so much for having me in this show.
My pleasure. Thank you, Kim. I mean, the work is really wonderful. I hope to see more of it.
Yeah, I hope to work with you again soon. Thanks.
Thanks so much. You have two really wonderful pieces by now I'm probably not going to do justice to the name. Adranik is this first name. Arotunian, who is an artist in New York City. This first piece is called Midnight Walk. It's oil on board. It's 26 by 20. And the second is same size, also oil on board. And this one is called Winter Light. Loel Barr. My friend Loel Barr. There's a Loel Barr piece hanging right over my shoulder.
Are you in your house, in your
I
apartment?
am in my house, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What to say? This is an older piece, and I was sort of painting figures, and I think I had a sketch of figure drawings, and I started seeing them as rocks in a cave, and so I just kind of went with that and painted it. This is oil on a board. And I just realized it looks like there's a cat eye on the right side that I never saw before. Yes, there. So that's what I have to say about that.
What about this piece? It's
This
a newer
piece,
right?
Hmm?
It's a new piece, no?
it's a fairly new piece. Yes, it's a small collage. And I had a challenge. Usually I do figurative work and realistic work and paint and dip in and out of collage. Usually I use collage as a way to get back into making art when I've been out of it for a while.
Mm.
And this was a challenge to do something abstract and bright. As you know, my work is usually kind of dark. So I went for bright. I couldn't leave a figure out of it altogether. But yeah, it was just fun.
Well, I think you achieved it.
I what?
I think you
Yeah.
achieved it. It's certainly, the colors is and theme is certainly much
Yes.
brighter than what I know.
Usual.
If you like Lowell's work, I did a solo show for Lowell at the gallery in 2018, I believe it was.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorites. And then
Thank you.
we replicated it online on Artsy. So it's up there as well. I think we did that last year. So
Yeah.
please have a look. It's a really nice collection of more of Lowell's work.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for including me here.
Always, anytime, Lowell. You know that. I'm a big fan.
I'm not an abstract artist, but
No,
I
but
can
I mean,
squeeze one out when I have
stuff.
to.
And that's what I got to say. A lot of the work that I accepted are from artists that don't necessarily do abstract, or there's elements of abstract in the work. Like here, there's certainly some figurative in it, but it's pretty much abstract.
Yeah.
To my eyes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Lowell.
Bye.
See you soon. I hope.
I hope.
Harriet, are you here? Did you want to talk? I thought I saw you pop in. No? Okay. This is a piece by Harriet Foreman Barrett. It's called Far Away So Close. Oh, are you here? No? Okay. There's Harriet's been participating in a lot of my shows, both with the physical gallery and online. So there's more work of Harriet's if you'd like to have a look on Artsy. Sandra's here. That I know. Hi, Sandra. You're muted. You need to unmute yourself. All right, there you go.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Different than what I normally see of yours. Sandra usually does scanner photography.
Well, I do many different types of photography. Yeah. I have a site that's just with a camera and a site that handles my scanner photographs. But this one was taken a few years ago, and I don't normally do abstracts, but I was visiting a historic landmark in Pennsylvania, and we were sitting around this area that turns out was a water table, which I had never heard of. And it was underneath a structure, and all of the light was coming through the trees and the leaves of the trees outside of this structure through the 4 openings around this table with water. and it made such a beautiful design on the surface of the water. And so I zoomed in with my lens to this particular area of the water in the pool here. And I did it with a slightly slow shutter speed so that I could get some of the movement and make it look more abstract, more painterly. And I really liked the effect that it gave. And then I made it a little bit more saturated in the color to bring out the dark blue, the light, the greens, and the yellows, which I thought were just, I don't know, very pleasing and calming to me. It was really, really pretty. But it is one of the things I do. If I see it in nature, that's something that grabs my eye, I will take a photograph of it, although it's not something that I normally go out and do with abstracts. But so.
This was a nice surprise when it came in. I was really happy to see this.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Most of the work that I have of Sandra's in my shows are her scanner photography, which is gorgeous. They're really beautiful. So please have a look at those as well. Thanks, Sandra. Glad to see you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again. All right. Next, I have a piece by Melissa Benedict. Melissa is an artist in New York City. This is called Confetti. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 36 by 36. Two pieces by Ed Burkees. Ed is an artist living in Woodstock. This is called The Outline. This is it's acrylic on canvas. It's 24 by 24. And the second piece by Ed is called Sailing in the Shallows, also mixed media. This is on paper, 11 by 15. Ed's been in a number of my shows. I did an online show for Ed as well a couple years back. That's still archived up there. So if you like Ed's work, please go have a look on Artsy for some more. Randy Bloom, speaking of shows, I had the real pleasure of having a solo show for Randy Bloom. This was probably 2 years ago. This is I have, you can see that show online, and then a separate show of some of her series of handmade works on handmade paper works on handmade paper. So this is numbered 2308, and this is acrylic on canvas. The size is 43 by 35. Brittany Bondi, this is called Huron River. Oh, Brittany, you're in here? Hold on. Let's see. I think you're going to join us. I have you on my list, but let's see if you're here. Brittany, are you here? Maybe not. Okay. So this is by Brittany Bondi. Brittany lives in Detroit. This is called Huron River 1. It's a cyanotype on an X-ray sheet film, and it's 10 by 8. Vian, I know you're here.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
So earlier. I can.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. I can hear you. Yep.
Good.
I got to find you though. But yeah, go ahead. We can all hear you. I just got. Oh, I see you. Yep.
Okay.
Let me
I'm waving.
replace you so we can see you. All right. Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vian's got two pieces in the show. This first piece is called Flying Petals, and then the second piece is called Foretelling Shadows.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. So these are two small pieces. They're both acrylic on canvas board, small and very affordable. And I did write just a short statement for each. Do you want me to start with this one, Foretelling Shadows?
Sure, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, since it's up. So it's just a very short sentence that captures basically the sentiment behind the work and basically the meaning behind the title as well, and the different aspects and elements of this piece. So the painting title Foretelling Shadows is an abstracted version of a minimal landscape, showcasing how the interplay of light from up above casts shadows on our earth, be it through the movement of the sun, the clouds, and the moon, especially in phenomena such as a solar eclipse, which leave behind unique shadows unseen before, that carry so much mystery of untold cosmic and universal occurrences. The shadows within the abstracted work allude to the mysterious, the enigmatic, and the absence of what caused such shadows. The work in such becomes a bridge to philosophical thought of what shadows are and the multitude of ways one views them, and how their invisible truths carry so much weight and significance, especially in a work of art. So I'm always fascinated with shadows. And after the solar eclipse, I noticed that there were shadows that I've never seen before. And they were so interesting. So I said, wow, it's just the change of light can really bring so many different shadows. So I kind of wanted to capture that enigmatic and mysterious aspect of how kind of shadows creep and do certain things that are very interesting, especially for an artist.
I think you did it beautifully.
Yeah. So the other piece, do you want me to, yeah, so this one's called Flying Petals, which is like cherry blossom flying up in the air over water vista. So it's an abstracted rendition of cherry blossom petals flying in the air over water. This painting is rendered in the abstract expressionist style. My artwork is based on my love for nature and the environment. In my work, I present the world around me, such as my observation of the cherry blossom landscapes, and depicting it through my abstracted and expressive aesthetics. In such, the deliverance of my work is much true to my identity, also my personality as an artist. It's honest, and I wanted it to be romantic, aiming to bring forth a slice of my everyday life and the world as I see it. So yeah, I like work to be, I don't know what it is. I'm kind of a romantic person, so I kind of like to, I guess, express part of who I am through my work. Yeah, so flying petals of cherry blossoms. Yeah, a little bit dreamy. I'm very much of a dreamer, so I guess that comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your other work as well.
Yes, all
Yeah,
of it.
there's been a number of shows with the gallery.
Yeah.
And yeah, so have a look on Artsy, see some more for work. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
You've got a lot of activity going on.
Yep.
Congratulations on everything that's going on.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, take care now. See you soon.
See ya. Bye.
This is a piece by Daniel Alejandro Carranza, who lives in Albany. This is an acrylic piece called Olas Personas or Personales. It's a 16 by 20. This is a 30 by 30 canvas. It's called Change, Life, Death, and Rebirth. It's by Feng Cheng, who lives in New York City. And then we have an untitled piece by Tiffany Claburn, who lives in New York. This is acrylic on canvas. It's 24 by 36. All right, Arabella. Welcome, welcome. You're on mute, so you want to unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Arabella? Okay, you're on mute, but so you need to you need to unmute yourself. But in the meantime, I'm going to move on. But you just tell me when you got it, and then we'll bring you back. All right, two pieces by Jenny Perry. Jenny is an artist living in Woodstock. This is called Rock and Roll. It's cut wood and painted paper collage, 18 by 16. This is Syncopated Rhythm, also by Jenny. This is a 3D painted paper collage. It's 22 by 22 and 3 inches deep.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Oh, great. All right.
Okay.
All right, Arabella. This is a piece by Arabella called Wall Detail Saugerties. It's a really beautiful piece, Arabella.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a detail of a cement wall, and I liked the way it became three-dimensional, and it has the effect of waterfalls, which I didn't realize when I looked at the wall. I just liked the way it looked. But when I saw it in the smaller version, it became clear.
It's very painterly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know what, this is I fool around with the camera too, or I fool around with the camera. Nowadays it's my phone, the camera phone.
Yes.
But I always love coming across these sort of involuntary kind of, you know, paintings.
Yes. Yes.
You see them all over the place, and this is a really nice one.
The weather made it. The weather made it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's got some really nice dimensions in it. I did want to mention that Arabella has a show on Artsy where it's called Wall Dogs of San Francisco. In the 90s in San Francisco, there was a bit of a renegade artist that was going around painting dogs on walls all over the city. And it sort of turned into a little almost like a scavenger hunt. People would walk around the city looking for these these paintings, myself included. And Arabella went around and photographed them. So that series is up on Artsy. If you I think that it's a lot of fun, and it brings back a lot of memories to me.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Arabella. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we have a piece by Shelley Davis. This piece is a mixed media collage, and it is called The Mystery of Life. It's 14 by 11. Quite a bit of work on Artsy of Shelley's as well. Nancy deFlon, let's bring up Nancy. Nancy is a photographer living here in Socrates.
I just unmuted myself.
It was good, really nice to see you earlier. Thanks for coming to the show.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks. All right, so tell us about this piece. This is Stones Show Their Colors.
Yeah, this is a kind of a different version of things that I normally do, which is I photograph a lot in Rhode Island as well as in the Catskills. But in Rhode Island, I am normally in the area of Newport and Middletown. And this particular one was taken in an area of Newport called the Point, which borders on Narragansett Bay, which means it's kind of it's threatened because they've had so much rain and everything lately, and it's getting into people's basements. And I just like to try to preserve some of these things in case they fall down. Normally, when I'm walking around the Point, I will photograph the buildings kind of just as they are, get a nice front on picture of them. I did get one that was slightly at an angle, and my son particularly liked that one. It was different. But what I did this day, and it was on a chilly, horrible, windy day back in February, as I started looking for close-ups. Now, these buildings that I'm talking about at the Point, they are pre-colonial and colonial, beautiful buildings in a nice neighborhood. In other words, we're not talking the Newport mansions. We're talking just nice, regular homes. And the people there take very good care of them. And most of them have some kind of a stoop or a little staircase, and then that goes into the front, the front door, luckily, because if the front doors were on the sidewalk level, they'd have an awful lot of water in their places. And I just zoomed in on one of these stoops, and just this, this pattern here just appealed to me. I thought, oh, this is really fabulous. I think I took a couple of pictures of it. And then what I did though is I tilted it slightly as a diagonal because I thought it would be a little bit boring if I just did it straight forward. So it's at a diagonal. I looked to try to get interesting colors in it, and I got that white spot on toward the top that's kind of preeminent there. And then there's a lot of blue in it. And then, of course, what I did was when I put it through the processing, look for some artistic looking filters. And I tried a couple of different ones, actually. And I decided I like this one the best. I thought it really flattered all those those little individual stones. Now, I said this was a kind of a development, or as you were, from what I normally do. As you know, I normally don't do stones, I do rocks. Of course, there's a difference because, the rocks are just sitting there on the beach or wherever they're sitting. The stones are when they take them and make something of them like I do here. But Robert, as you probably know, I have so many pictures of rocks in your gallery and other shows and all that. What people don't realize is, for the most part, it is the same rock. It's a huge conglomerate, and it's sitting on the beach, and it just has so many different personalities. I mean, I should name it Walt Whitman, because this rock could say, "I contain multitudes," and get it from different angles, close up, far away. And then the light always makes it look different too. You can get a gray day when it's mostly gray or white, and then you can get days you get orange on it and all kinds of things. So, for all I know, maybe, this little thing here is an offspring.
Well, I think that, I mean, you definitely take advantage of, the opportunities that present itself naturally. This is a little different than what Nancy normally does. I mean, she does beautiful landscape, mostly in some seascapes, landscapes, some really beautiful work. So there's quite a bit of Nancy's work on artsy. So yeah, I would suggest, recommend you have a look. Really, really gorgeous landscapes. And this is great to see an abstractist piece from you, Nancy.
I like to do it every now and then, just
Yeah.
something different, keeps you fresh.
Great. I'm glad to have
Thanks,
it.
Robert.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming to the
I've got to come and see it again. Yeah, it was a great show.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, this is a piece by Ben DeMarco. Ben lives in White House Station, New Jersey. This is called Monarch. It's a photograph, and it's 24 by 36. Two pieces by Charles Dorr. This first one is called Get Out of the Way. It's gouache and pencil, 16 by 16. Chuck lives in Brooklyn. This is a second piece by Chuck. This one is called Self. A piece by Michelle Feinberg. Michelle is an artist living in Boston, Massachusetts. This is called Just a Bit Shy. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 30 by 30. Two pieces by Enna Fearon. These, as I was saying before, I really like when these kind of natural abstract pieces present itself. And I think Anna did a really, really beautiful job with them. This is called Different Celebration, and then the first one is called Chief Glory. They're both photographs. This is a piece by Carol Folds. Carol lives in Jamaica, New York. This is called Wisdom and Enlightenment. It's mixed media, 24 by 30. Two pieces by Raiden Frost. Raiden, are you here? I saw Harriet. Raiden lives in Kingston. This is called Rejuvenating. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 30 by 24. The second piece is called Singing in the Rain. This is acrylic as well, and this is 30 by 24 also. This is Improvisation by Denise Giardulo. This is a fiber piece. It's 42 by 27. Denise lives in Stone Ridge. Sorry, there's a little gap here of no artists, so I'm going to try to zip through some of them. Two pieces by Christine Graff. Christine uses a lot of recycled materials. And they usually have her work usually has a message behind them. And I promised I wouldn't be talking and just present the works. This is called Making Art from the Rubble. It's mixed media. It's 10 by 10. And then the second piece is called Fog of War. Here we go. All recycled materials. Three pieces by Robert Greco. These are all 11 by 14 acrylic on canvas. This is NS1. Second piece is NS2. And then the third piece in the series is NS3. These are acrylic. There's some wax on it, and there's some caulking also on all three. Tom, are you here? I thought I saw you come in. I don't know if you want to say something about your work. No. This is a photograph. Again, another way that nature presents itself, or maybe handmade nature presents itself. This is a photograph by Tom Hackett, who lives in Kingston, and it's called Self-Contained. This is by Catherine Hazard. I'm not sure why I can't enlarge it, but this is called Wind. It's an acrylic piece, 20 by 20. Christine Henninger. I sort of like, there's, a little bit of an abstract quality to this. I was really drawn to the image and the colors. This is a photograph, and it is by Christine Henninger. It's called Silo Dreams. Two pieces by Martha Hill. Martha lives in Kingston. This is called Torrent. It's oil and pencil on paper. It's 7.5 by 7.5. Second piece by Martha is called Where the Sky Meets Us. Oil and pencil on paper, 8 by 8. There's quite a few of Martha's abstract pieces on Artsy as well. A little sculptural piece by Danielle Hulk. Danielle lives in Boyceville, New York. This is called A Paradox in Plastic #2. It's wood, resin, plastic, metal, and paper. It's a small piece. It's 1.5 by 1 3/4. Two pieces by Deborah Houston. Deborah lives in Vancouver, Washington. This first piece is called Our Song in Magenta. It's acrylic and mixed media, 24 by 24. And then the second piece is called With a View. This one is 20 by 20, and this too is acrylic and mixed media. Okay, now I think we have an artist who's going to join us. Chiarra, are you here? Here we are. Excellent. I have you, you are muted, so you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Welcome, welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes. It's a little...
Welcome. Am I on video? I don't...
There you go.
Okay.
Well, just your name is up. If you wanted to, to put the camera on, you'd need to put the camera on from your end.
Sorry, I'm such a novice at Zoom, and I shouldn't be given the pandemic.
That's okay. We can hear you clearly. So welcome. Where are you calling from? You're in Hudson, correct?
I am calling from Hudson, New York studio.
Great. Oh, here we go. All right, now we see you. Oh, we did.
Oh, okay. Let's just go off because it's giving me problems. Okay. It's giving me problems. I'm fine without it. I just didn't know if it would be, a little bit.
So the first piece is called Dapper, and the second piece is called Solitude.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Correct.
All right, great. So yeah, tell us about about both pieces.
Yes. Okay, so these are, this is actually something a little new for me. However, I started getting into adding this these figurative people, in which I was so inspired by the metropolitan lifestyle and living in the city. So I feel like these are the people that I would see when I'm in Manhattan or whatever, that adapt these different attitudes. Like you have Dapper and Solitude. Dapper was, I actually seen this guy, and he had this styled cane, and he was walking down the street with this hat, and he looked amazing. He had all this burst of color, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I was like, if I was going to translate this, how would I do it? And that was how I was inspired by that. And solitude is, I always think of myself actually, like I'm in the world of chaos when I'm on a train, but once I put my AirPods in or I'm by myself, I still find a way to have everything chaotic around me. I still find a way to be present and not have it affect me as such. So that was my way of depicting those emotions. And basically my whole series is based around the city slickers is what I call them.
Nice.
Thanks.
These are all acrylic, correct?
Correct.
They're both acrylic? Okay, great. Wonderful. There's just a lot of joy. I mean, the colors, the colors are really strong. And there's so much joy in both of these. So this is representative of your work? The rest of your work?
Yes.
Or you said this is something a little new for you?
It's a little new, but it's a series, so it's
right.
Those are 2 out of 12 pieces.
So the figurative pieces are new for you, but the abstract, in the back is a little bit.
Yes, the abstract.
Right. Great, wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I'm really, really pleased to have them.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be a part of the show. Amazing
All right.
work.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Okay, this is a photograph by Ina Ivanovskaya. Again, apologies for messing up on the name. So this is a photograph. It has a lot of abstract qualities to it. It's called Tree of Life, and it is a traditional 35mm photograph, which drew me to it right away. This is a piece by Yoko Aizu. Yoko lives in Catskill. This is called Road Trips and Mixtapes. It's acrylic, washi, and faux gold leaf on paper, and it's 12 by 12. 2 pieces by Phoebe Jamieson. I think Phoebe's here.
Yeah, hi.
You are. Oh, here we go. No, that's Arabella. Hold on. Oh, I see you. Wonderful. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Absolutely, my pleasure. These are gorgeous pieces. This first one is called Landscape from Yesterday. The second one is called Unveiling Vulnerability. Please tell us about them. I don't know which one you want to start with, or
I'll probably talk about them as a collective, if that's okay.
Sure, please.
So both pieces are part of a series of work that I've just completed called Through Her Eyes. And they're really looking at incorporating the ideals of Carl Jung, who he had some really interesting concepts. And this particular series is looking at the inner child and tapping into that idea of joyousness and playful and vibrancy. I think particularly as we get older, we tend to get a little bit more serious about ourselves and tend to forget that childlike nature within inside us. So this whole series was exploring as part of my relocation. You can probably hear I'm not a native New Yorker. I'm from Australia. The connection with myself as part of that journey and really diving into, well, how can I bring forward joy through my work and curiosity and emotion and fun. So both of these pieces very much reflect that. You'll see by the style and nature of the work, I'm very much influenced by works of previous abstract female artists such as Helen Frankenthaler, Georgia O'Keeffe, and a little bit of Joan Mitchell. I find their work very aspiring to chase in terms of the form of delivery. The works are both acrylic on canvas, and they're worked from a raw canvas base. And a lot of the colors I use are actually built up from raw pigments. So instead of taking a hard or soft body and watering it down, I take a more concentrated pigment and build up from there, which allows me to have the depth of color without it being diluted in the work that I play with. So yeah, they're part of the current series, and I hope people enjoy them.
They're beautiful, and the colors are really just stunning. That's one of the things especially that drew me to them.
Yeah, I try to challenge myself to start of a place of conflict. So finding two colors that typically we wouldn't pair together, you know, if we look at our spectrum, how do we pair those colors together to find the conflict? So then through the production of the piece, I can then find the resolve. So how do we find that ease at the end of that conflict? I think everything in life, there's the positive and negative. So I try and resolve that within each piece.
They're beautifully balanced. I mean, you know, it's really, really, really well done. I'm really, really pleased to have them.
Thank you. And thank you for including me in the show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Phoebe. It's good to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. Thanks, Robert.
I have two pieces from Annette Jarrett. Annette is a artist living in Port Ewan, New York. These are a little different for Annette, which I'm really pleased with. And again, I said I shouldn't be doing more than just presenting them, as I said. So this is called Florida Dreams, number 3. The second piece is called Opus 17. And then we've got two pieces by Ellen Jura Epstein. This first piece is called Run Gloriously Amok. It's a mixed media collage on vellum. It's 36 by 24. Ellen lives in Germantown across the river from here. This second piece is called Temporality, Mortality, Fragility. This is mixed media on vellum as well, 36 by 24. Okay, I'm going to unshare this with you and you will see a big screen of me. And let's get on to the second page. Okay. Let me share this with you. Okay, this is by Cynthia Coralla. This is called, it's Craigslist Toots number 7. It's a photograph. It's 38 by 30. There is a story behind this that I encourage everyone to go back and spend a little time reading all of the, you know, the artist statements for the artists that weren't here. Because, you know, one thing that I always respond to is the story behind the piece, which just, and especially with abstract, it just makes it so much more special. So please, you know, spend a little time on the Artsy site exploring what the artists who couldn't join us had to say. Okay, this is a piece by Monica Krajkovic. Monica lives in Tilson, New York. This is called Invasive. It's natural ink and rust on paper. This is by Martha Klein, Eleutheria, I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's oil on canvas. It's 10 by 8. Two pieces by Deborah Block-Hole. Deborah lives in Bloomfield, New Jersey. This is called The Sky Was Unfolding. It's acrylic on canvas. It's 16 by 20. Oh, I'm sorry, that was The Sky Was Unfolding. The one before it was My Heart Stood Still. That was acrylic also. David Kucera. David lives in New Paltz, New York. This is called Meteor. It's raw pigment on handmade paper, and it's 26 by 26. Two pieces by Hunter Larson. Hunter, are you here, Hunter? I thought you said you were going to join us. Maybe not. If you are, stop me. Hunter lives in Saugerties. This is called Dopamine. It's a mixed media piece on canvas, 18 by 24. The second piece is called Strawberry Fields. This is 11 by 14, and this is mixed media as well. This is a very cool photograph by Laura Luders. Laura lives in New York. This is called Construct, and it's a archival pigment print. Two pieces by Yvette Lewis, an artist here in Saugerties. This is a monoprint. This one is called Breathe, and for some reason I can't expand that one. The second piece is an oil on canvas. This one is called Swing. Harriet, are you here? I thought I saw you come in. I don't know if you want to speak about your work, but I'd love to have you talk about it. This is by Harriet Levanthino. Liv Athanos. Harriet lives in Kingston. It's called Fledgling. It's graphite and ink on canvas, and it's 20 by 20. Harriet, if you do want to come up and talk about it, just let me know. Just come on. Two pieces by Valentina Luna. This is Valentina lives in New York City. This one is called Casa Estudio Luis Barragán. Barragán, I'm sorry. This is acrylic on canvas. It's 36 by 48. The second piece is called, the second piece is called Yellow Thoughts. Two acrylic pieces by Marjorie Magid. Marjorie lives here in Saugerties. This is Heart Song. It's 14 by 11. The second piece is Masquerade. Marjorie usually doesn't do much abstract, although she's been doing more of it lately. I did do a show for her a couple years ago that's still archived on Artsy. So she's got a real fun sense to her work. So please go have a look at those. Francesca Mallow. Francesca is an artist living in Glasgow, New York, right down the road. This first piece is called Breaking Winter. It's an acrylic on canvas. And the second piece is called Weeds. This one is acrylic and charcoal on paper, 20 by 18. Kendall Matsuka. Kendall is an artist living in Port Ewan, New York. This is called Left for Dead. It's acrylic and ink, 24 by 18. Two photographs by Joel Mendelbaum. Joel lives in Kingston. This one is called Body Ice. It's 13 by 19. The second is Hole in the Wall 2, 19 by 13. A collage work by Dorothea Marcus. Dorothea is an artist and photographer living in Woodstock, New York. All right, Ellen and Kevin.
Hi, Robert.
And Martin, here we go.
Um,
Ellen, and then we've got Kevin Hinkle. This is a collaborative piece.
Hi, Robert.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So we started working on these collaborative pieces in 2018. Just to give you a very brief background, they were originally based on my Abandoned series. This one is based on the Dead Roses series. Someone said recently, I see a theme happening here. So what happens is I have shot hundreds of either Dead Roses or Abandoned images. This is Dead Roses series. And then what I do, I asked Kevin if he would use his technique called fusions, if he would consider collaborating with me by taking my images and then adding his own either images or effects. So Kevin, why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, so basically Ellen sends me her files and I look through my files to find things that might go well with what she sent me. Sometimes then I'm in a more chaotic mood, like this piece, which is, I mean, I can't even tell you what all is involved, but it does have clouds and a rose, a yellow rose, a single yellow rose. And the other image was rose and jellyfish. So I just combined them. I like the visual of it. And I, played around with the colors for the jellyfish. This is a much simpler piece, less chaotic. So
the jelly piece was your image, Kevin? And then the
jellyfish and the rose and colors. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'd always thought that the jellyfish, it was so beautiful. It was just taken in an aquarium, some aquarium I don't even remember where. But I always thought it would go well paired with something else. And then, Ellen's roses came along and I thought they worked well together. So
wonderful. They do. I've seen a number of the pieces from the series, and it's a really nice collaboration. Is it being exhibited anywhere right now? Do you have any pieces up right now of them?
We have one piece at Studio Montclair. It got into their Viewpoint show.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent. I did want to mention that Ellen is a curator for the Oyster Point Hotel and Art Boutique Hotel in Red Bank, New Jersey. She does a really wonderful job. Do you have anything going on there now, Ellen, that you wanna mention?
Oh, we have 4 shows up. One painter I'm giving him his first show. One ceramicist who lives in Red Bank. So it's nice to have a local artist.
Yeah.
We have a pop artist who's also a first-time exhibitor. And then I have something unusual, someone who created Mylar overlays for the windows and the atrium of the hotel. So they're 60 by 30, large. Some of them are abstract, some of them look like they're nature, but they're partially, they're transparent. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Nice. I hope to make it down to see it. If
Thank
you're in the Red Bank area in New Jersey, in Monmouth County, definitely stop by. Ellen does a fantastic job, and the hotel is a really wonderful setting for the shows. Great to see you guys. Kevin, nice to meet you. We may have met once before, back in Red Bank.
Maybe so. I'm not sure. My memory is not what it used to be.
And then you could see some of Ellen's pieces from the Dead Roses series on Artsy as well, and a couple from the Abandoned series that she had mentioned. All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Two pieces by Kate Masters. Kate lives in here in Saugerties. This is called Rondure number 1. It's acrylic. And then Rondure number 2, a small piece that's 12 by 12. That's acrylic as well. This is by Ellen McKay. Ellen lives in Kingston. It's a mixed media piece. It's acrylic, charcoal, ink, and graphite on mulberry paper. It's called Eventide, 16 by 16. Jim, did you make it on? No. Okay. Jim said he might join us. This is by Jim McKee. Jim lives
Here.
Oh, you are here. Great. Excellent. Good, good. Let me find you. All right, keep talking. We can hear you. I just need to
Okay. I don't normally
Gotcha.
do painting. I don't normally do any abstract, but I give it a shot. This piece, Moonlight Sonata, is about me being on the beach at night. And it's overcast, but I can still see the moon. So
Great. It's a nice piece. It's very different from what I know your work for. Jim does a lot of sculptural pieces.
yeah.
And work, some works on paper, some collage. But yeah, this is different for you. I'm glad that you accepted my challenge, and
Well, I enjoy doing it, and I'm very honored to be in the show. So thank you.
excellent. Good to see you, Jim. Where are you on your way from?
I was at a show in Martinsburg, West Virginia, where I had a piece. And
Wow.
I'm on my way back to Gettysburg.
You were a traveler, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope to see you up here one day.
Okay, very good.
Thanks so much, Jim. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, two pieces by Hadass Melamed. These are photographs, I believe. Hold on. They are. Hadass is an artist living in Kingston. This is Nebula 12. And this is Nebula 14. And again, I think this is another scenario where it's sort of natural abstract presents itself. Ellen Menzies. I was really, really pleased to get this from Ellen. I have to stop with the editorializing. This is Ellen Menzies. Ellen lives in Saugerties. This is called Crow. It's a small acrylic piece. It's 7 by 8. And then the second piece is called True Blue Spirit, acrylic on board, 9.5 by 8.5. But let me just say real quick, I was very happy to get some abstract work from Ellen, because she, you don't really, Ellen doesn't do much abstract. Okay, Sarah Nixa. Now, Sarah, are you here?
Yep, can you hear me?
Excellent, wonderful. Yes, welcome. Good to meet
Thank you. Yeah, good to meet you too.
I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I have my notes in front of me, so I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. We're a good group.
So with all my abstract work, they come from a place that I call like a well of emotions. And essentially I can tap into this and make the work no matter what my actual emotional state is. The abstract work became a way of working cathartically, especially when growing up as a teenager. When I first explored abstract work, the main features of the work is the mark making. It's always like a dance or music. There's these dips and valleys, crescendos and decrescendos. I do often listen to music when I make the work. The music can have influence on the work as well. Often in my process of connecting shapes and forms within the piece, these creatures tend to appear a type of pattern recognition called pareidolia, I believe, and we all possess that to some degrees. So it's a way of seeing shapes and patterns within the piece, and it's interesting to see or hear what other people see or within the work. In terms of line work, it's important for me to explore different varieties of line making, from confident swoops to sort of these scraggly lines that get tangled up, especially the mark in the upper middle, the black mark. That inspired the title of the piece, When the Surface Cracks. It's the focus and almost disrupts what is around the line work for the most part. To me, everything feels as though it's a puzzle piece fitting together, and this line tends to break it up. The artwork is done in a variety of materials, from mainly colored pencils to graphite and some washes of watercolor. I want to thank you again for this opportunity, and it's great to be a part of this.
I'm really pleased to have it. It does have a real musical quality to it. I mean, it's got a really nice flow. I love when artists are inspired by music. And this one I can certainly see how just the movement of music and the flow of music really had some kind of inspiration on this. And wonderful palette choice too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm really glad you joined us. I have there's two pieces by Emily Normer. They're both these are acrylic on paper. This is Aerial Views of Nowhere. And then the second piece is Roads to Nowhere. Jason Norton. Jason, are you here with us?
Yes, Robert. How are you? Thank you.
Oh, yes. Hi, Jason. Good to meet you. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for everything. Yeah. So basically, my process is more of an automatism process, depending on the medium I'm working in. So the content that is pretty much intricate, taking place inside my memory. It's a process of divulging inner feelings, memories, traumas into lines of personal exposure that finally results in a type of comfort when released from the gates of pretty much unconsciousness, subconsciousness places. So it's an intimate process of content retrieval combined with attempts to making understanding and healing what cannot be done in ordinary ways in life. So basically my art is more as obviously an expression, but a healing. This is a digital piece I did where I photographed bubble wrap, and these faces just started to come out to me. So I really emphasized them with glasses. They all had their own little character. This was a 3-piece series. Two of the other ones I sold. This one is still in my possession. So I was able to submit it to the show. And the other piece was more of a abstraction painting where I actually added these digital elements at a later time, because I really don't feel a piece is ever really complete. There's always a conversation or a continuation going, especially with our lives. We always have different things happening, and then I look at my older pieces if they're still around, and I try to maybe add to them. So this is about mentoring. You have a lot of sound coming out. The little speaker here for the head for the guy with the suit. He's mentoring. Basically, has the girl and boy there on a string, and you have their brains getting information, and then you have the hot air balloons basically symbolizing coming and going. You have people always coming and going in our lives who are mentoring us and trying to keep us on track, and and just being cognizant of our own thoughts, even when we're being mentoring, having our own self still.
I know there's a, a lot of, there's mostly figurative qualities to this, but I was really drawn to, well, the figurative, but also just, just the abstract elements of it. And the second piece especially, I was really drawn to. It reminds me of the classic photographs you see from the 50s of people in a movie audience with 3D glasses on.
You know what's funny? A gentleman just told me that today at my son's baseball game.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
He told me about the Times magazines, Time magazine.
Oh, yeah.
People in movie theaters, and that's just very, very, very interesting because he gave me the same feedback today when I showed him the show. Well, now I know maybe there's something there from the past that I should reflect on. Maybe deep past. I mean, I'm only 44, yeah. But it could be some kind of something I picked up along the way, just through movies, maybe through just content, not even being aware of it, and then it just comes out sometimes, Like,
and it was very cool. I thought it was very cool that it was, a photographed piece of what was it? It was plastic, right?
Well, first I had some bubble wrap that was pretty interesting shape that I photocopied it and I brought it into Adobe Illustrator, and then I just started to do different things, different techniques, and then these faces started to come out, and I just wanted to emphasize them because they all had their own little character. And
well, thanks for including them in the show. I really enjoy having them.
Oh, thank you, Robert. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Jason. I'm not sure where are you seeing the scribbling on the page on the?
Yes.
Or is it just me?
No, I see the scribbling.
Okay, I don't know why. Someone must be scribbling. Okay, let me see if I can. Oh, how do I get rid of this? Sorry, guys. Oh, Jason, are you still there? Well, I'm trying to figure out how to clear.
Yes.
Someone was curious to know what the needle is about in the other piece. I'm sorry I can't bring it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, it's a three-part series. Each one has the needle. That was basically about just threading our own existence, our own experiences. We're threading a needle constantly, and also the pressure that we have in our heads. It's kind of like the needle's going through the head, where it's like we have this pressure of our thoughts, who we should listen to, and basically, once again, going back to the needle of threading our own, I guess, experience, and how do we do that? And what thread do we use that's going to be good quality, or sometimes we cheap ourselves out and use in our experiences, and I mean lose insight of what we got from them in a way, and it's just it goes. There's a lot of meaning to it, but that's basically
nice. Roughly. Mm-hmm. All right, thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks again, Jason. This is a piece by Mac O'Sullivan. Mac lives in Astoria, New York. This is untitled. It's oil on paper, and it's a small piece, 8.5 by 5.5. This is a piece on canvas. It's on panel. It's oil on panel. It's by Andrew Palladino. It's called While Other Things Happen, and it's 24 by 18. Two pieces by Daniel Pallas Friedman. Daniel lives in Hudson. This first piece is called Ellipses 12. It's oil and graphite on paper, 18 by 24. The second piece is Rhythm 12. This is 36 by 6, and this is oil and graphite on canvas. Two pieces by Diana Papazian. Diana lives in
here.
Virginia. You are here. Oh, great.
Yes. Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really honored. I was looking at all the work. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's about to be a really good show. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Restarted painting when the pandemic hit because I'm a jewelry maker and nobody was buying jewelry basically, for obvious reasons. So I got back into painting. I was dying to travel, as were we all, I'm sure. And I saw some photos on Instagram of these beautiful like waters and beaches, and I just got inspired by these photographs, and thus this piece was born. It's acrylic with the gold portions are the gold and white is actually marker, gold marker. So yeah, it's an original piece and I really love it. It's one of my favorite pieces, I think, because it just makes me serene and calm whenever I look at it. Just kind of
Yeah, the
transports me to the
colors,
beach.
yeah. And I actually, I responded really nicely to it too. It reminded me a lot of the landscape. Specifically, it reminded me
Mhm.
of, you know, if you do like an aerial view of San Francisco where I used to live,
Oh, okay.
I
All
see
right.
a lot of the buildings in the white there. So
Yeah,
it
yeah. So the
definitely,
buildings are, yeah, I mean, it just, everybody has different reactions. But yeah, for me, it was definitely a beach scene and with the, the white buildings. Maybe heck, for me, it was like Greece, they have a lot of white,
yeah,
white
yeah, exactly.
buildings. So
Yeah, it's beautifully abstracted out.
thank you. Thank you so much.
And then what about
This,
the second
yeah,
piece?
so this piece is a mixed media and it's actually an interesting, so I love dandelions and I painted this dandelion painting and I'd seen a lot of a lot of my friends do reproductions of their work and I wanted to give it a shot. So what I actually did is I took a close-up of my original painting. So there were like 3 dandelions, and I took a close-up of one of my paintings and had it reproduced on canvas. And when the canvas arrived, I wasn't quite happy with the colors because I felt like it wasn't really saturated enough. So I went over portions of it with a palette knife. So when you see it in person, like you can sort of see, it gives that texture of the palette knife because I went over portions of it, but then you can also see the, photograph aspect of it too underneath. So it's kind of a neat effect when you look at it. I don't know if you can see it, it's right there. It's that. So, it also is a happy, I mean, obviously these are my favorite colors. As you can see, it's repeating the same colors. So it's just, I'm really drawn to these like teals and whites and blues. And gold. It just makes me happy. So at the time it was, I guess, a way for me to just put some brightness around me. Because it was kind of a bleak time for all of us.
Well, the colors are really compatible. I mean, they go really well together. Did you do them both around the same time?
Yes, yes. I was prolific. Yeah, I was definitely prolific
Wonderful.
at that time. Yes. Thank you
Well, I'm
again.
really pleased to have them. Diana
Thank
also
you.
has a few other pieces on Artsy. She's been part of some other shows, so
Yes.
please have a look. And I'm really nice to see you. I'm glad you
You
joined.
too. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Lisa Penny. Lisa, are you here?
Hi, yes, I'm here. I'm actually Lisa and not Phil.
Yes.
So-
I do want to mention that we are, going a little over time. So thanks for everyone for waiting. But we still got, we're almost through.
Almost there. Well, we'll keep it brief.
Lisa, no, that's not why I said it. I'm just.
Oh, no,
more
I
for the
understand
artists that are
perfectly.
waiting, for their time. Because I do send out a schedule and I always tend to go over time. So
I know, don't we all when we get talking about our work?
please, Lisa, tell us about this piece.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting kind of piece for me. It's the first in a new series for me. Traditionally, I'm a mixed media artist, and I've done a lot of work. I started out in digital media and publishing and design, and then I got very interested in fiber work and fabric work in the early 2000s. And then the more I got into that kind of fiber work, the more I started really wanting to break out into other types of natural materials. So I messed around with some wood veneers and different types of corks and grass papers. And This particular series, I have always been a big fan of Kandinsky, and I was in a used bookstore and I stumbled across a book by Kandinsky called Point and Line to Plane. It was published by the Guggenheim some years ago in the 50s, I think. And it was really kind of an interesting catalyst for me to go into. I'd always done a lot of representational abstracts, and so this kind of shot me into a more non-objective, non-representational area. This particular work is called Galleria, and I got this idea from, I had taken my mother to the Museum of Fine Arts Boston, and we were up on an upper floor looking down at the main gallery, and there were these great Chihuly sculptures in green, and it just, somehow it all just seemed to fall into blocks and spaces for me, and I really liked the way it just felt in its abstract form, you know, without any of the detail. And I kind of went into a period of taking photos like that of, you know, upper floors looking down, and I've done a whole series now based on this one as the catalyst that is primarily using the wood veneers and the woven grass papers, generally on an acrylic base, although some of them are still on a fabric base, and I work different fabrics into them. But a lot of them are, they create movement through the placement of, you know, the lines and the planes and how it draws your eye, you know, across and through and back into circles. So that's kind of the goal, is to give kind of an overview, but also the little details and lines that keep your eye looking around and keeping your focus in place, you know. And I think it worked pretty well in this particular case. Some of my larger ones have gotten a little bonkers and I've had, you know, there's a lot more movement and a lot more chaos going on. This one's a bit more structured as one of my earlier ones in the series. But I really like this because I like the way the veneers came out, and I like the way the whole upper view seems to fall together. So yeah, it's kind of a new thing to me to break into completely non-objective, non-representational abstracts, and I think it's working. It's been a challenge for me. If you go back into my older work, it tends to be more representational, but this one was a nice catalyst.
I especially like in this how the sort of just the natural texture of the you know, the materials that you're using really works so well in just the overall structure of the piece.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I initially starting using fabric, but also digital design, somehow working in more natural fibers. And I don't do as much design digitally as I used to because I'm finding it flows nicely on the canvas, but it's kind of, I use kind of a mix, you know, depending on whether I'm going from a photograph or just going from my head, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank you for the opportunity to be in the show. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Lisa's been in a couple shows with the gallery, so yeah, have a look at some of her other work. All right, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Gina, are you here? No, my friend Gina, no. Okay, this is by Gina Petreka. Gina lives in Springfield, New Jersey. This is called Color Mural. It's 11 by 14 and it's photography. This is a work by Nicole Pepper. Nicole lives in Saratoga Springs, New York. It's a alcohol ink on canvas, 18 by 24, and it's called Pink River. Two pieces by Lori Polson. Lori lives in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. This is mixed media. It's called Abstract on Black. It's 12 by 9. And then the second piece is called Abstract on Yellow. This is mixed media as well, and that's 12 by 9. A multimedia piece on paper by Gustavo Ramirez. who lives in Cohees, New York. This is called A Friend of Dorothy. This is actually a digital composite, 36 by 24. And then the second piece is called Maker's Prison. It's mixed media on paper, 30 by 22 and a half. Two really nice abstracts by Monique Robideau. Monique lives in Scarsdale, New York. This is called Fervor. It's acrylic on cradle wood, 20 by 20. And then the second is called Neon Dreams. Pastel on paper, 13 and a half, 12 and a half by 12 and a half. And that's a really striking green. Piece by Genesis Robles, who is a senior at Lehman College. This is called Skies and Seas. It's acrylic paint on black painting paper. I'm sorry, it's acrylic with black painting paper on canvas, and it's 22 by 22. Piece by Marilyn Rowley, who lives here in Saugerties, called In the Beginning. This is an encaustic piece on paper, 13 by 13. Two pieces by Gia Sabatini, who lives in Delhi, New York. This is from the Dream series, mixed media on canvas. This is Dreams 1. This is Dreams 2. Both of them are 20 by 20. Gyro Rama. This is by John Scribner, who lives in West Shokan. It's a collage painting on canvas, and it's 18 by 24. Two works by Arlene Seymour. Arlene lives in Stormville, New York. This first acrylic piece is called Circle Song, 16 by 20. And then the second piece is called View from a Branch. This one's 11 by 14. Two works by Marjorie Sopkin. Marjorie lives in Guilford, Connecticut. I have a few pieces of Marjorie's on Artsy. This new piece is called Recess Required. It's acrylic on paper, and it's 8 by 8. The second piece is called The Ins and Outs, also acrylic, and this one's 20 by 20. Cindy Sumerano lives in Hurley, New York. This is called String of Pearls 2. It's pastel on embossed paper, and it's 10 by 5. Two works by Emily Thing. Emily lives here in Saugerties. This is called The Journey Ahead. It's mixed media on collage board, or it's mixed media paint and collage on board, and it's 8 by 8. And then the second piece by Emily is Winged Dreamer. This is mixed media as well, 10 by 8. We have some ceramic pieces by Shu Tu, who lives in New York City. This is called Orchid Quartet, and they're 10 by 10. Charlotte, are you here? No? Okay. I thought she might be joining us. This is Charlotte Tush. Charlotte is an artist in Kingston. This one's called Spring Alive. It's acrylic on canvas. It's a small piece, 10 by 10. This is very different than the work that I know of Charlotte's, a different direction that she's been going in, but still an abstract form. Two works by Lynn Ubel. Lynn lives in New York City. This one is from the series Peeling Back the Layers. It's acrylic, water-soluble crayons, Chinese ink on canvas board, 20 by 16. And then this is the second one in the series. This is Peeling Back the Layers 2. This one's 18 by 18. A sculpture by Emmanuel Umana, who lives in New York City. Beast of the East. It's a ceramic piece, 12 and a half by 13. A mixed media piece by Rebecca Wells, who lives in New York City as well. This one is Clouds and Rivers, 11 by 14. And I'm really happy to close this off by bringing up an artist, Mateo Wilches. Wilches.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
There you are. Hi, good to meet you.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you have two pieces here. Both are photographs.
I do.
So tell us about both of them.
So we can start with the other one, the ICU. So ICU is part of a series that I have. It's called the Faces. And it's just wallpaper ads that are around the city. You know, if you're in the city, you know that these kids they get changed frequently. And I think it's really easy to miss these ads, these wallpapers, just because we're always being advertised, first of all, on our phones and, you know, on screens and stuff like that. So we kind of walk past these and we don't really notice these. But I think these are very unique because I think, first of all, someone has to come and put these up. You know, they take the time to put them up, glue them onto the wall. And if they're lucky enough, if the ad is lucky enough to stay, then they get defaced by the environment, by wind, by rain, by snow, and also by humans. So at the end of the day, you don't really know what the company is that it's trying to advertise. You just see this face that's peeled, you know? So I think it's really interesting. And I think it's art at the end of the day. I think it's a collaboration with humans and the environment that then you get this later on, you know what I mean? So I think it's really cool. It's really abstract. So yeah, I have a series of that. And you know, on my walks that I do every weekend, I try to find these little, you know, little abstracted or, you know, wallpaper ads around the city. So
I'm with you on that. You know, whenever I'm walking around you know, New York City or really any city, I always keep my eye out for things like this because there are, like, I mean, there's history there. You know, there's layers and layers of you know, what's going on or what has gone on before.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I you know, I mean, both of these pieces have, you know, a lot of figurative elements to it, but you know, there's some abstract as well to it. I really just like the clean quality of this one is in particular. You know, it's a real sharp image. What about the other piece?
So this is my girlfriend Olivia. This was taken just walking around the city. I remember it was like an art installation of a series of mirrors that were interactive with people. So it was like a circle thing, and you could, you know, spin them around and stuff like that. And so she was checking them out, and I was like, hey, you should probably, you know, stick there for a second so I can take a picture. I wasn't trying to cover her face. She's actually very beautiful. But it was all those marks that you see, those are actually like fingerprints of people that were touching the glass and stuff. So, and then I was able to capture like colors that were, you know, around the city and, you know, that were kind of reflecting on the glass. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It has some cool texture and it's kind of ambiguous, you know, who the person is. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the texture in this is really wonderful. It was a really nice capture.
Thank you.
You know, all of a lot of especially with the photography, most of it was all found art. You know, if we keep our eyes open, we'll see a lot of things that people, you know, as artists just don't necessarily notice, but as artists we do. So thanks for capturing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you got it. Good to meet you, Mateo. And that is our program. So we heard from thank you for all the artists who have joined me. I like I said, I think just hearing about the work really makes the work even more special. So thank you for sharing everyone your stories with me. I'm sorry that we went a little over than what was expected, but you know, I tend to gab a lot. I did want to mention that I do have 2 open calls out. One of them is for Saugerties, where I live and where the gallery was, is celebrating Woodstock '94, which took place here in Saugerties this summer, with a bunch of different events. And one of the things that I'm doing with Shout Out Saugerties here in town is we're putting together a exhibition of album size art, 12 by 12 pieces of art that is inspired by a musician, a song, or a reinterpretation of maybe your favorite classic album art. And this is going to be exhibited at the Lamb Center, which is a historical home here in Saugerties. I've done pop-up exhibits there before with Shout Out. So we're really pleased to be exhibiting it there in the month of August. And then it'll also be on Artsy. So I have a call out for that. And then I just put a call out for my next Artsy group show, which is a Works on Paper show. It's called Paper Trails. So, could include really the multiple ways that artists are using paper in their work, whether it's, printmaking, photography, collage, sculpture. You surprise me about how you're using paper in your art. So that's a call for artists out as well. You can find them on the Emerge Gallery website, which is emergegalleryny.com. So that's the show. I encourage everyone to spend a little time on the Artsy site and read the artist statements and the stories behind a lot of the art that I really just zipped through during this presentation. Because there are some really wonderful stories, and it's always special to hear, directly from the artist on what inspired them in making the work. And then have a look at some of the other shows that I have going on too. So thanks everyone for joining me. Everyone stay creative. Keep the creative juices flowing, and we'll see everyone at another time. So thanks all.
Good to see you. Thank you, Robert. Bye-bye.